So there's like a few characters that Roadhog doesn't pull as close as other characters, which is really fucking annoying because you can't pull off your insta-kill combo and there's no reason for it. Like, Blizzard, really? My hook pushed her away. Like, at least fix that. Come on. Anyways, there's this retarded little workaround. If you sidestep away from them after you hook them, and they get dragged just a little bit closer. I mean, this drags every character closer, even the douchey ones that you don't need to get that extra distance on, but it just kind of matters the most with Hanzo, Reaper, and Ana, because it enables you to kill them instantly instead of crying yourself to sleep as Ana gleefully well, I mean, I'm a shitty Ana, but you get what I'm saying. This is a big deal. Roadhog's hook is supposed to be an insta-kill combo against fragile characters, and right now, it's just not. It just doesn't work, but this is the workaround that we get. A small side note, it's probably not worth doing this on the characters you can normally insta-kill because it slightly reduces your chances of lining up a shot. So it's not perfect, but the point is, with certain characters, it's better than just walking forward. The Riptire, like Junkrat himself, is really loud and annoying. But there are ways to mitigate that. Here. Watch this.
On here. Yeah, I mean, you had
top left, top left.
Yeah, bomb.
It's up on the bridge. It's up on the bridge. It was.
Did you notice you couldn't hear the tire at all in that footage? That's because this asshole knew what he was doing. The tire only makes this loud noise when it's rolling on the ground. But when you're standing still, climbing a wall, or falling through the air, the tire is effectively silent. I mean, it makes a little noise, but you usually can't hear it in the heat of combat. You can take advantage of this in a bunch of ways. First, you can try to get high ground and then fall silently in a position like this asshole did. Another way is to start the tire and then spend the first few seconds propped up against a wall so that 5 seconds later, people think it's already dead. Then you can climb. You can climb. Oh my god! I fucking hate climbing. And that's just lost the game. Great. Okay. I mean, well, I guess not, because that Zen was invulnerable, so I'm not gonna blame it. I'm gonna blame it on the tire anyway. You know what? Fuck it, because I can. Anyways, silent tire, really effective. Pop quiz. You're playing Zarya, holding behind the cart like a good defender when you hear those 3 terrifying words.
It's high noon.
Your shift bubble is on cooldown. You're miles away from the nearest cover, and since you haven't seen any bullets fly over your shoulder, you're pretty sure that McGee has full health. What do? How do you survive? I'll give you a second. Time's up. The correct answer, bubble the nearest teammate and stand inside the bubble. Now don't get me wrong, McGee is still gonna fire out 2 bullets and the bubble's only gonna soak 1, which means one of you poorly positioned retarded sons of bitches is still gonna die. But this is a pretty extreme example of how to use Zarya's E-bubble to protect yourself. I mean, you don't know what your teammates are thinking. Maybe Reaper's shift was gonna last through McGee's shots, in which case you would have both survived. The point is, with a few hours on Zarya, you stop thinking of the bubbles as, can I protect myself or can I protect a teammate? And you start thinking of them as, I've got these 2 buttons. How can I put a bubble between me and the asshole that's trying to kill me or my teammate? And when you start thinking like that, a whole new realm of having fun with bulky Russian women opens right up. Reaper and Pharah have ultimates that do a steady stream of damage right after you click Q, but you're usually the most vulnerable right when you start your ults because that's when the enemies still have all their health. You know, they can just kill you right back, so they can counter you. So what can you do to change that? Now this is real fucking complicated, all right? MLG Pro Strat right here. Hunker down, take notes, and I'll just give you a second to just really let this soak in. All right, you ready? You ready for this? Left fucking click. That's all. Look, there's no delay between shooting and starting your ult, so you may as well get in that little bit of damage before it starts. Reaper, click ult. Boom. Watch him drop. Pharah, click ult. Dead. You can actually see the health burst down as the rocket hits. Once you start doing this, you just gotta facepalm every time you watch someone else not do it. I mean, it's literally just free damage. It's just free damage. Just take it. Just take the free damage. Oh, good, great. Another section of Roadhog's hook. I love it. Love it. At least we're not talking about hook dynamics this time. Anyways, in the same vein as the trick just before this, you should never lead with a hook when you're playing Roadhog. Always lead with a shot from your scrap gun, and then hook, and then scrap gun again. Ideally, this tactic doubles the damage of his hook combo, which is kind of a big deal, especially when you take into consideration those people who aren't getting insta-killed. As an added bonus of this trick is that you get to piss off even more people with Roadhog, and much like how getting too much sodium can destroy your body in real life, too much salt in Overwatch can destroy your enemy's spirit, which is great, because even if you lose, you'll walk away knowing that at least you destroyed a small piece of their soul, which really is just what competitive gaming is all about. So, you know how when you're McGee, which, by the way, fuck that guy, you see the red skulls appear when you're not about to kill someone with high noon? I say not because they still have a half an hour to find cover after you click. But sometimes you get lucky and the other team has just simultaneous seizures at their keyboard and you manage to kill them all. Well, it turns out high noon doesn't stop increasing in damage when the skull appears. It actually keeps ramping up all the way until the end of the ult. Now, most of the time this isn't a big deal since you're dead before you make it through the ult. But occasionally you'll get a moment where, say, a few people decide to hide behind a Reinhardt shield. Well, if you let that damage continually ramp up, it will do more and more damage to that shield, and if you're lucky, pop it and maybe kill the people behind it. The takeaway here is that there are situations where you may want to keep ramping up your damage after you see skulls, instead of just firing immediately. But you'll probably just die, because that's like 90% of his ults. Like 95%. I mean, that's like 99% of his ults. To this day, I'm still pretty amazed at how badass Genji's Reflect is. It's not a lot of things that can get through it. It's not like a big German man's hammer, not a zillion bullets from an army of PTSD-stricken robots. But of all the things in this game that can cancel it, that you wouldn't expect, is Genji's own goddamn sword! Yeah, for some reason, just sheathing the dragon blade cancels your reflect. Like, really, dude? Really? Fucking, it can't wait. It can't wait 1 second. Putting your sword away can't wait 1 second. I'm not even asking you to swing the sword. Just don't fucking stop your reflect. I mean, running straight at an ulting Reaper, he's like, oh, well, this just can't wait. Let's just put it away now. Yeah, fuck reflect. Fuck you, Genji. Fuck you. Another specialized little bit of information that could maybe be helpful from time to time, McGee's Alt keeps a circle over every enemy, even if they're out of your line of sight, as long as you've seen them at some point in the ult. I'm sure you knew that, but have you ever considered the implication? This means that if they go for cover, you've basically got 5 seconds of X-ray on them. Not super useful if they're far away, but if you're close enough, just cancel your ult, and that information can tell you exactly what you need to know to kill them. Namely, where they're hiding around those corners. So this way, it's not exactly the ult doing the killing, but it is nice that because you use the ult, you were able to kill them, if that makes any sense. So Lucio's boop is a fucking crapshoot, right? Sometimes they barely move, other times it launches you into the goddamn stratosphere. It's an annoying pile of bullshit based on 100 variables, such as where you're aiming, what direction they're going, how far away they are, stuff like that. Barra's Concussive Blast, on the other hand, is the polar opposite. It will always send enemies the exact same distance, no matter what. Of course, they can hit buttons in midair, but generally the blast is always the same. No matter how close they are, how far they are, whether they're above or below the blast, it always pops you up a little and knocks you about 10 feet away. There's no splash damage, no fall off, or anything else that you associate with a blast of the concussive nature in video games. The takeaway from this is that it's really not worth trying to hit them as close as possible with it, because you can still aim like 7 feet away from them and it'll still launch them the exact same distance. So, for like 99% of players, Widowmaker is not a good pick for competitive, which isn't to say she's bad or having her equates to an instant loss, as loads of toxic players seem to believe, but she's just so easy to counter. A single Winston can usually get value from harassing her and just doing whatever else it is Winstons do once they're done harassing her, but there's one way to get value out of her in competitive, and that's to use her on attack at the very beginning of payload levels. The idea is to get a quick pick and then switch to an actually useful character who's not countered quite as easily. The idea is that you don't even give them a chance to counter you, just reduce the initial fight to a 6 vs 5 and then continue playing the level like normal. I put this at number 1 because this is probably the easiest trick to get value out of. It's just so quick and so easy. You go back to playing like normal, except they'd have one less enemy to deal with in the beginning. It's fucking great. Did you know that there's a Super Smash Bros. Easter egg? Yeah, every time Winston uses Primal Rage, you get flashbacks of kicking and screaming your way back to the ledge, trying to refresh your upbeat. I mean your climb. Fuck. But seriously, the best character is a character who gives you, the individual, the most options at any given time, the most roles to fill, the highest ability to assess your current situation and adjust your strategy accordingly. And Zarya is the Russian queen of filling roles. Look at all these things she does. That's a lot of things. Compare that to someone like Reaper. I mean, that's less things. Zarya, more